Hello there everyone, welcome back to another edition of Bomber News, where we cover all things Bomberman news. Okay, so for full disclosure, I was thinking of calling this BOMBERNEWS at some point in reference to Pommy, but then I remembered he's literally just Pommy. Anyway, let's not waste any more time. We have quite a few updates, including the very much needed introduction to Bomber Girl at the end. But it's at the end, so you all can skip it. I realize I'm a bit late to the game here, but in the latest of collaborations, this time between Konami and producer After the Credits, a new Bomberman Plush enters the ring. In a nearly 40cm form made of recycled materials like polyester, you get this really well done white with a detachable, likely Velcro bomb. Unlike the Fangamer one, which has been around for the longest, its design heavily harkens back to older takes of the character. It reminds me of the render seen from the late 90s to early 2000s, like seen in the Bomberman Max games or Second Attack. Either way, this thing is unbelievably adorable. I'm mad our boy, the Lord and Savior, Black doesn't get one. Well, time to see whatever Google asks. It's funny to think that it was barely even 3 months ago in the channel's first video that we were just talking about Super Bomberman R Online's supposed second season, and here we are in the second video talking about a season 3. But yeah, that's a thing now, and with its announcement at least comes a slew of event battles, which really just revolve around more free character trials and stages based on older stages, which I think is kinda neat. One of them's called the Power Zone, where everyone's stats are maxed out from the start. Oh, and I'm hoping that tweet implying Max is coming at some point, Konami, because like, he's such an obvious choice. But come on, let's not kid ourselves. The real point of interest here, contention, is the new character who, spoiler alert, is yet another Konami cameo. Yeah! Okay, fine. If I must give Konami some credit, I do at least appreciate that they're selecting lesser known characters, which totally isn't because they shot themselves in the foot putting all the popular ones up front and now desperately need more money. Anyway, it's Rio from Suikoden 2. I'm appreciating that more and more people are joining places like the Power Bomberman and our server, link down in the description in our channel bio, and then making their grievances known to Konami directly via places like Twitter. On the flip side, it seems as if Mujoe and the Hige Bandits are making a return of sorts via Bomber Girl. In the last 2 comics showing off the desert stage, Mujoe and the Hige have appeared in what seems to be a Mad Max gag of sorts. Although, if I may be like totally honest, can that actually be like his canon design? Like, forever? That, and in the comic following that one, we get a potential Bomber Girl based off of the Hige directly? Like, if that's the case, then I'm unironically pretty psyched. For reference, Mujoe's last proper appearance besides Generation and the Jetters tie-in game was in 2003's DreamWorks TV World Fighters, a crossover fighting game between Konami, Hudson Soft, and a few other properties. In it, he acted as one of the in-game hosts of the show, hosting all the fights. Kind of a shame considering he's easily one of the most fun characters to be around, especially in Jetters, but that's another video in the works. Bomber Girl is a 4v4 MOBA take on the Bomberman games with a heavy Eki base for its characters. Announced in 2018 as an arcade title originally, it is something of an actual game. Those who use Konami's e-amusement cards can actually save their progress for the next time they play. Throughout all of the game's modes, whether it be in a single player bout or online, it essentially comes down to this. You're plopped into one of the serious maze-based levels with blocks and power-ups all around. However, you're one out of a team of 4 who must take down the opposing team. This is ultimately done by damaging their home base and lowering their team gauge. As you make your way about said stage, you'll notice the power-ups such as bomb, fire, and speed-ups, as well as team XP boosts, which add onto a gauge. Once that said gauge is full, you and your teammates will then gain access to each of the character's respective special attacks, which will need time to refill after each use. Along the way, you'll be met by gates and team supporters, both of which will block your way to the base. The supporters, interestingly, are based off of the NES sprites of the Balams, Pontans, etc. Anyway, when all is said and done, you have to detonate their base and your team will win. there are an assortment of stages, all with their own hazards to occasionally deal with. The surprisingly large cast of characters, despite their interesting designs, are either based off of or are actually legacy Bomberman / Hudson Soft characters, which is far more than what Super Bomberman R Online has to offer in terms of actually celebrating its series. Anyway, they're split into 4 classes with attributes made obvious by their names. Bombers with a focus on placing tons of bombs, attackers who can deal a lot of damage close up, shooters who work amazingly from a distance, and blockers who are pretty good with defense. After every match, you'll get a chance at the Bomber Gacha, where you can unlock new characters, closing items, and customization options for the in-game chat. Obviously, the more money you put in, the more unique stuff you're likely to win. If you end up getting more than one of the same item, you'll be able to exchange them for items in the CP shop, which are located in the game's locker room. The game also has daily events, which usually introduce new closing items and sometimes acting in celebration of a character reveal. Also, character birthdays will have events from time to time. The game has a surprisingly active Twitter account where updates and those comics I showed earlier are posted. Obviously they're all in Japanese, and to get around this, I found a semi-active Tumblr blog dedicated to translating all of these, which will be linked down in the description below. Anyway, while I was, and to some extent still am, put off by the character designs, especially those like Jetter's White, or as he's called, Chiron, I do have to commend the game's dedication to actually being, well, the Bomberman title? I know, crazy. And that'll wrap up today's video. Tell me, what did you think of all this? Are you gonna buy that Bomberman plushie when it comes out? Speaking of pre-orders are now available, expect those February of next year. Do you care that Mujoe is back? Are you excited at the potentiality of getting a lewd Hige bandit? Or are you a weirdo who likes the Konami cameos and really think that Max is coming back? Oh god, that'd be nice. Tell me down in the comments below. Be sure to check out my good friends' Twitter, Miyagadan, and the new gimmick account, Daily Bomberman Music, run by user Brunette Amity. On the former, expect updates and retweets and cool fan art and anything. I mean my good friend posts. I'll be seeing you all for real next time with that pretty bomber video. I want to look into actually premiering that one. And of course, do expect an after show where I'll actually be bringing up my thoughts about that new R Online character and Bomberman Jetters, which I've just finished watching a few nights ago, and my thoughts on that in rather messy detail. That all being said, until next time, I'll be catching you all on the other side of the boob.